What's going on, boys and girls? Well, it's that time of the year when the fresh vegetables are starting to come out. And I went by a farmer's market the other day and I found some cucumbers. So I said I'm going to get me some and got about 2 gallons of them and 2.5 gallons of them. Said I was going to make me some dill pickles. And I know I've made a dill pickle recipe before for you guys, but I want you guys to watch this just in case there have been some that have not seen it. Now, you don't have to do it like I do it, but there are a few essentials that you just have to have in order to make these pickles. All right, guys, that looks like a lot of stuff right here, but I'm trying to show you basically what goes into the dill pickles. Now, you don't really need all of this stuff, but there are some essentials. Of course, you got to have the cucumbers here, and that's 2 gallon bags of just regular pickling cucumbers. Now, you can use regular whole cucumbers if you want to and make them into spears. You got to have a brine. And you got to use white distilled vinegar, which is about 5%, and you got to use some water. Now, the mixture of this brine is about 2 to 1. We got that over here heating as I burn my hand. Got that over there heating. It's 2 to 1. So 2 parts water, 1 part brine. So I've got a gallon of water in there, and I've got a half a gallon of the distilled vinegar. Got about a cup of kosher salt. You want to use kosher salt because it does not have iodine in it. You also want to use you can put some sugar in here, and I don't have the sugar out right here, but I use some regular cane sugar, and you can use about a half a cup. If you can actually leave that out. And that's basically what you need for the brine. Now, the seasoning, you are making dill, so you're going to need some dill weed. You're also going to need some dill seed. And this is fresh dill weed. That'll give it a lot of flavor right there. And you got some of the dry dill weed, and you got some of the dry dill seed. This right here is calcium chloride. It's called Pickle Crisp. This will keep your cucumbers staying crunchy. This is what makes them crunchy, because the skin of these cucumbers have an enzyme, especially the ends of them. They have an enzyme that they release, and once they release that enzyme, it makes your pickles kind of moist. Well, this right here breaks that enzyme down right here, so you really need to have some of this if you want crispy dill pickles. Can you make dill pickles and they still taste good without using this? Yes, you can, but I've always found that it works. We've got some mustard seed. We got some crushed red pepper. We got some whole black pepper. We got some pickling spice. Pickling spice has a lot of different things in it. Mustard seed, bay leaves, allspice. It's got some chili peppers in there. I bought this wholesale. You got to have some garlic, and we're missing something, onion. I've got an onion as well too, guys. Now, if you don't have one of these utensil sets for preserving, I would seriously want you to get you one of these. It's got a jar lifter in there because you're going to be handling a lot of hot stuff, a bubble remover, headspace tool, a magnetic lid lifter, and a jar funnel. You're going to need every bit of that, guys. Another thing that you're going to need a large stock pot. Now, this pot right here probably holds about 3 gallons, and that's what we're going to use to make our water bath right there. And I've got that almost to the top, but not quite to the top. Again, you're going to need another stock pot to make your brine, and you're going to need this to put your jars on the inside of. Now, I've got my jars. They are in the oven. I washed those jars out real well, and they're actually sterilized right now, but I washed them, put them in the oven for about 20 minutes at about 250 degrees. You've also got your lids and your rings. The lids are the thing with the little rubber seal around them, and your rings are what goes around the top part of the jar to screw the lids down. Now, you can actually make these things with just the lids that will adhere to the jar, and it will seal. You don't actually have to use this, but I like to use this, guys, because it just makes it look better. Now, let's get to making some pickles. Oh, one more thing. This right here is something that I didn't start using until last year. But this right here these are little bags, little mesh bags. You can put your spices in there. I used to let all this stuff just float around in my pickling brine, and it would still taste good and all that. But I put my spices in here. Now, you don't need to put your garlic in there, but your spices, you want to put your spices inside of this, like your pickling spice, your black peppers, your dill seed. This will absorb So you want to put it in there so that you don't have a whole lot of stuff floating around. You can buy those things at Walmart, Amazon, just wherever. All right, guys. Instead of me showing you individually how to put these things in here, what we've done is we've taken about a teaspoon of dill weed, a teaspoon of dill seed, some red pepper flakes. That's about a half a teaspoon. We got some black peppercorns there. We got a bay leaf. We got a dried pepper there, and then we've got some of our pickle and spice there. That's about a teaspoon of it. If you look real closely, you'll see the pickle crisp. That's about 1/4 of a teaspoonful. And we've done this with all of them. Now these over here have the red pepper flakes in them because I'm going to make half of these spicy and half of them are not going to be spicy. These right here don't have it in there. And then we'll add the rest of our stuff next. All right, so I got all my spice bags wrapped up. I've got 2 of them separately. One of them is the spicy, and one of them is the non-spicy. This one right here is the spicy. I hope I remember that. All righty, guys, we're going to show you quickly how we're going to do this. We're going to do the spicy ones first. So we'll take one of these in there. We're going to take a few garlic cloves, and I love garlic. So I'll put a few in there, 1 or 2, however many you want to put in there. I'll put 3 in there for that one right there. We're going to put 1 sprig of our dill, our actual real dill weed in there. Uh-oh, stuff's spilling over here. Okay, we're going to put, remember I said I was going to put some onions in here too. And we can kind of break these apart here. Now, you don't have to put the onions in here. This is something that I'm doing new as I drop that on the floor, so that won't be going in there. And then we got to put our pickles in there. Well, our cucumbers. They're not pickles yet. Now, this jar is extremely hot, y'all. So I just took it out of the oven here. And you want to put them in there. It's easy to lay them down like this. And we'll probably get about 6 or 7 of them in there. I say 6 or 7, maybe not. And I'll try to find a small one here to go in there. And you want them, you want to break them up like that. Now that's perfect right there. That's perfect. That's not really perfect, but that happens sometimes. Again, you can take some of these here and you can cut them if you need to, just to kind of pack these things in there. And don't worry about that thing breaking like that, guys, because that will happen sometimes. And it's happened with me more than once. So that's about all we can get in that one right there. Then we want to make sure that we wipe the outer part of the lid here of the jar itself, because we don't want anything on the outside. It's going to make it stick. And now we're going to fill the rest of those up, and we'll come back here shortly. All right, we got all the jars packed in there. And if you look at them, guys, I got some of them kind of cut, and you just want to put them in there. They don't have to be completely, spherical. They can kind of float around in there. You got your onions in there. And so they don't look like you would buy that, the Kate's store or anything like this. But these are probably going to be better than Kate's dill pickles or Mount Olive dill pickles. Well, personally speaking, I've had them before. They're better than anything you can buy in the store. And if you make something yourself, you're going to feel better about it. You're going to take the time and make sure it's quality, and you're going to put stuff in it that you like. And if you mess it up, which these will not get messed up, guys. I've made them a bunch of times. They're going to come out perfectly. Now, if you like my recipe, just follow it and see if you like it. If you don't like it, say, "Oh man, Tracy, you suck. Your recipe wasn't any good." Now we're going to fill these jars up with the brine. All right, this is the easy part. This is hot brine right here, guys. You'll see the steam coming from it. And all we're going to do is, again, this is where this comes in handy. You don't have to have one of these, but it sure does come in handy, guys. We're going to take some of this. Usually takes about 2 ladles here. And just kind of ladle them in there. And you're going to ladle this until it's about 1/4 of an inch from the top. they will settle to a certain extent. And you'll see them, because you want to have a little air pocket right above it. So we're going to move on to the next one. And I'm not going to show you all these things. I mean, ladling is ladling. So, but I just wanted to see, want you to see how fairly simple this is. And again, these are something that you made and something that you can appreciate. So we'll come back once they're all filled and we'll put the lids on it. Alrighty, once we get them all filled, we want to make sure there's no bubbles in there. We'll take this little thing here and just kind of move it around. And you'll see that you may have to add some more brine to it. But again, you don't want any bubbles in there, because that's going to prevent it from sealing. Now, guys, I have made these before, and you could stop at this point. Just put your lids up there, and the jars will seal. But I haven't had good luck that way. The only way I've had good luck is when I kind of put them in a water bath for a little while, and then they always seal. Maybe it's something that I'm doing wrong, but we're going to go ahead and add our lids to them now. And that's where this little metallic ring comes in. This little metallic doohickey here comes in, and we'll just take the lid here. Well, I need to show you one other thing before I do that, guys. It's real important. It's real important that I show you this. You got to make sure before you do this that you wipe, because this is important with the seal. You wipe around the edges of each one of these jars so that there's nothing on the outside of these jars that'll prevent it from sealing. And this does take a little time, y'all. I got home from work today and went outside and did some yard stuff, and I should have started on this immediately, because now it's like 8:11, so I won't be done with this until 10 o'clock tonight. But you know what? It'll be worth it. When I eat some of these pickles in about a month or so, you can eat them sooner than that, but about a month or so, the longer you let them sit, the better they are. So now we're going to take our ring here, or our lid, not our ring. Put it down like that. And again, some people can stop right at that point, but I don't. I put them in the water bath because I've had them to seal just this way. So we'll come back. Alrighty, once that part is done, we're going to take our rings here, and we're just going to hand tighten them. That things are hot. You're just going to hand tighten them. And you just want to finger tighten these things. You don't want to bear down on these. Just kind of finger tighten them. Each one of them. Just make sure everything is balanced, and just kind of finger tighten. See, now that one's already sealed. No, it's not. It hadn't sealed. I thought it did seal. That would have been cool. And you're just going to do this to each one of them here. Just finger tighten them. And we'll come back once they're all finger tightened and we'll put them in the water bath. Alrighty, now you're going to have your water bath hot. You got to put your rack in there. And we're only going to do 4 at a time, guys, because I've got 8. And now I think this rack only holds 7. So we're going to do 4 at a time. Let me see. Yeah, I could get 3 more in there. So we're going to do 4 at a time. And so what you're going to do is just let this slip down into the water, and you got to make sure that they're covered. Not going to do you any good if it's not covered. You're going to bring that to a boil, and that's going to boil. Once it starts a rolling boil, you're going to let it boil for exactly for exactly 11 minutes. You can go anywhere from 11 to 12 minutes. Usually I do about 11, 12 minutes or so. Now, a lot of times I will put the lid up there, and that'll make it to boil a little bit faster. So again, you want to go 10 to 15 minutes, guys, is the rule of thumb. You don't want to go any more than 15 because it'll, you don't want these things exploding on you. So that's why I always say 12. Alrighty, I moved them back to this eye right here because this eye actually heats up a little bit better. I don't know why. You'd think they'd heat up the same, but this eye actually heats up a little bit faster. So they're starting to boil. We're going to give that about 12 minutes. Alrighty, guys. Now that's what you call a rolling boil right there. That's what you want. Alrighty, the timer's going off. Now what we're going to do, guys, we're going to take this off the heat. This thing is heavy as heck too. Take it off the heat. And we're going to, this is the kind of part you got to be careful on, because you're going to have to take these racks. Now if these racks run to water, you'd kind of be screwed. You're going to take these racks and lift them up here. That's why they've got these little arms that'll attach. And just kind of lift them up out of the water bath for a little while, for about 5 minutes, and then we'll transfer them over to our cooling station. And I say cooling station, over to the other counter. Now this is the part you've got to be kind of careful with. You're going to take this little thing, jar holder, and you're just going to grab them. Try not to bump them. Just going to move them over to the cooling station. And we'll do that with each one of those. I just wanted to show you how to do it here. Do it with the rubber end. You don't want to do it with the other end. All right, once we do that, we can take this back over, because we still got 4 jars to go, guys. So we're going to take that back over, and we're going to let that start boiling again. And it should still be hot, so it shouldn't take long for it to boil. In the meantime, we're just going to take these jars here, put them on a towel, and we're going to cover these up for the meantime. You can see the snacks I got there in the background. Got some skins, I got some pickled eggs. Yeah, sometimes I don't eat quite right. Got the popcorn. These are homemade skins too. Alrighty guys, so they're all done. We're just going to cover them up and let them sit undisturbed. Let them cool down. Don't bother them. Don't come and look at them. You'll hear these things seal up, and you know they'll be ready to go. Now, as far as this brine over here, y'all, you can use this brine over again. So you don't have to throw this stuff out, because we've got quite a bit of brine left over in there. So you can, if you need to go get you some more cucumbers or something, you can make a whole nother batch of pickles. So, or you could pickle some onions or pickle some eggs or whatever. Now this right here, you may want to toss this out and get you another batch. But as far as the brine is always good. And even the pickle juice itself, you can warm that back up and use it for repickling, because brine is brine. You know, it's just a salt and vinegar solution. Alrighty, y'all, it's the next day. It's probably been about 18 hours since I made these things. They're all sealed. You can always, if they flex back, you know they're not sealed. You know what the problem is? I didn't label them. I'm pretty sure these 3 right here are hot. I don't know if this one is the mild one or if this one's the mild one, but we're going to find out. It's fine if I'm going to be the one eating them all, but sometimes I'll kind of send some to family members and I'll take some to work, which the people at work, they don't really care. They like the spicier ones more than the other ones anyway. Anyway, we're going to put these in the cabinet for about 4 weeks in a dark cabinet downstairs in my basement. We're going to, about 4 weeks. You can start eating these things. You could probably eat them tomorrow if you really wanted to, but the longer they sit, the better they are. So hopefully you like this video, and I hope you'll try this video or try this recipe. It is a great recipe. I do it every year, and probably going to be doing a lot more during the spring and summer of this year. Peace.